Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. We're actually live on YouTube right now. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And so excited you guys are here to talk about growing our listeners, our streams, and our fans on Spotify. So welcome you all here. And for those of you who are new to my channel, my name's John Gold. I'm the founder of one of the largest music promotion platforms in the world that's called Hyped It. I'm a music artist, an independent music artist with over 11 million streams for music on Spotify right now. But what's probably most important, that I've had the opportunity to help over 10,000 music artists and bands grow their music to over 100 million streams together on Spotify. And so, first of all, I'd love to get to know you guys a little bit better. You showed up here live. Hopefully you brought a lot of questions. We'll leave a lot of time for that at the end. But I'd love to know, what kind of music do you make? Do me a favor, just leave a comment in the chat. Let me know what your genre, what your micro genre of music is, just so we get a little bit of color here on what kind of music everybody's into. And okay, let me see. So we'll have some comments coming through here. Julian says, will this be recorded? And it will be recorded, will be available later. So I see shoegaze, I see drum and bass, sexy deep house, future bounce, German indie, folk to funk, punk rock, progressive metal, doomgrass, Latin urban music. I'm making house music, says Anthony. Christian rock. I make pop and country, house and UK garage, hip hop, rap, synthwave, rock, metal. Wow, that's amazing. We have like all different kinds of genres represented here. Fantastic. So here's where I want to start, and I'd love to tell you a little bit about something that happened to me over the last 48 hours, and I'm really curious about whether this is something that you have experienced in a similar way. So, you know, as everybody else, I guess every once in a while I spend some time on Instagram, you know, love just flipping through content. And so something that really stood out to me as I was flipping through Instagram over the weekend is how many ads I see for Spotify promotion services. So, I mean, I actually ended up taking some screenshots, but you know, there's this one, and then I swipe, and there's this one, and I swipe, and there's this one, and I swipe, and there's this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. It never ends. And they all look the same. They all kind of seem to promise the same thing. So I'm actually curious, if you have this going on in your Instagram, where it feels like you're being just swamped by a wave of advertisements for Spotify promotion services, do me a favor, leave me a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat if this is you, if you feel that tsunami, that wave of promotion ads that I experienced here over the last few days. And I'll wait for some of those comments to come through. Meanwhile, we'll get some more genres coming through here. So yeah, here 11111. Jonathan says 100%. Julian says more ads than seeing my friends right now. I agree with you. Anthony said 1. Yeah, so awesome. Now, what stood out to me is not only is it that many ads, but they also all seem to promise the same thing. They all get you on playlists. They all promise you that they only use real and fake. Sorry, that was Freud. They only use real traffic, of course, and give you real and engaged fans to their playlist. And that's all they do. And they all have, you know, only the best of the artists in mind. And you know, I look at this and I'm thinking, well, I'm not so sure. So I'm curious for you guys as well here. Leave me a number 1 in the chat if you think that all these ads that you're seeing are, well, let's do it this way. Give me number 2 in the chat if you feel that these ads are maybe somewhat misrepresenting or maybe somewhat lying, and they're not all real, and they're not all, you know, playlists without bots, and it's not all real traffic. So if you feel that these ads might be misrepresenting, give me number 2 in the chat here. If you feel that these ads are telling the truth and everything they're doing is real, they always have the best interest of the artist in mind, then do me a favor, put a number 3 there. All right, so so yeah, I see a bunch of number 2s coming through. And guys, I'm so with you on this. And this is why I sent out this email yesterday. Some of you may have seen my email yesterday. Some of you may have joined because of the email I sent today. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you guys, I mean, not you guys here on the call, but the guys in the end, you must be kidding me. Like, everybody promises the real thing. And what do they think? Us independent music artists, we're stupid? We know that this stuff, especially when it comes to playlists, is not all real. We know there are fraudulent streams out there. We know there are bots out there. And if you run a playlist, that actually might make sense for you because you want the biggest numbers. The bigger the numbers on your playlist, the more artists might be interested in being on the playlist. And so there is like an incentive, I guess, to boost and fake some of these numbers. And this is something that isn't new to me. I'm not going through this kind of experience for the first time here, but it just stood out to me with these ads so much. And the consequence that I've taken away from this, not today, but actually a while ago, was to say, stop this. I'm just going to promote my music myself. Because if I promote my music myself, I know what's in it. It's like, if I want to know exactly what's in my food, I have to cook it. And so with music promotion, it's the same. The only way to know that actually everything I'm getting is real and those are engaged fans, and I'm growing my music in the best way possible. I don't have to go past gatekeepers. I don't have to wait for anybody to approve. I can just do whatever, whenever I want. Then I'll just have to do it myself. And so I made that decision to say no to all these promotion services, just say, okay, I'm going to self-promote my music, which then open up the door to the next question, which is, but how? How am I going to promote my music if I want to do it myself? And so there were a couple obvious options. I've seen music artists blow up with social media, and that's perfectly fine. And I just figured that might not be for me because it'll take a lot of time. It'll take quite a bit of luck to eventually maybe have a viral hit. And I want near guaranteed results for the time I'm putting into music promotion. So that's the one thing I really didn't like about social media, that I could be posting content for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years without having the certainty that it's actually going to result in more streams and listeners and fans for music on Spotify. Yes, there are success stories from artists that have blown up on social media. TikTok became big on Spotify, but how many of those do you know? For me, it's like, I can count those on my two hands, and that's among millions and millions of artists trying. So this is it's a quite risky process, and it takes a bunch of time and it takes a lot of luck. And so this wasn't for me, which is why I focused my time and attention on running ads for music on Instagram and Facebook. What I loved about this is I could launch them whenever I wanted them. I could control all of the content. I didn't have to ask anybody for approval, or nobody had to like my song in order to run an ad. I could just make that decision. I could do it instantly, and the results were guaranteed because I was literally paying for exposure. And that's what you're doing with ads. The problem there only was over time that running ads is quite complicated, and there's quite a learning curve involved getting into this. And I just found a lot of music artists, they're not really passionate about becoming experts in Facebook Ads Manager. They are much more interested in making music. And so over time, I tried to improve the process in which I promote my music to a point where it requires minimal time, gives me maximum results, and gives me these results in a near guaranteed way, where I know if I launch a campaign like this today, I'm going to get listeners, streams, and fans for that tomorrow. And then I can scale it up, I can scale it down, I can pause it, I can run it, I can do with whatever I want with it. And all this baked into a process now that is really only taking a few minutes. So you could say it's kind of taken me years to develop a process to promote music in a way that really only takes minutes. And because it works so well, this is how I'm literally promoting every one of my songs that I've released these days. And that is what I want to share with you in this video here today. I'm going to walk you through the entire process. We're going to go through this click by click. And of course, I'm going to answer any questions that come up at the end. I have a couple windows open here. I have my browser window here. I have the broadcasting studio from which I'm recording this video here. So I might not be able to answer questions throughout the presentation part, but definitely post it here, and then I'll go back and I'll scroll through the questions, and we'll leave plenty of time to answer that in the end. All right, so cool. And I see you guys are really active in here, sending lots of messages, which is amazing. Awesome. So I love it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. This is me on Spotify, John Gold here, currently around 60,000 monthly listeners. In terms of all-time stats, this is me here. I'm standing at 11.6 million streams right now. Spotify for Artists took the ability to see your all-time streams away from Spotify for Artists as a portal. So I'm using song stats here right now in order to pull this up. But I released a new song last week. And I tell you what, I haven't launched a promotion campaign for this song yet. So this, I figured, gives me the perfect opportunity to walk you through it. And what I'm launching here on this call is not it's not just a demo or something. It's the actual campaign that I'm going to run for that very particular song. So if I scroll down here, it's this one here, the release, This Love Will Never Die. I'm not going to play the music for you. It doesn't really matter what kind of song it is. All that matters is that the process that I'm showing you works for all the genres that you put in the chat. And I can say this with confidence because if you use Instagram and Facebook ads to promote your music, you basically access billions of people around the world, people with vast, a vast array of music tastes. And because we can laser target these ads to fans who love that particular genre of music or even micro genre, is a fantastic opportunity to promote music, no matter what music you make. If it's like the punk rock, or it's classical, or if it's electronic, or if it's hip hop, or country, it really doesn't matter. Anything goes. But there are a few steps in order to launch a successful campaign, and so that's why I want to walk you through it, literally step by step. And the first step is that I'm going to go to the release, and this only has a single song on it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to add this release to a playlist with only my own music on it. So I'm literally just going to drag it over to my This Is John Gold playlist. Now, this playlist here is one that I made for myself. This is not one of those playlists that Spotify made for me. You can easily see this because I'm shown as the author of this playlist over here. But I called it This Is John Gold because I wanted fans to instantly understand what this playlist is about. And the This Is, insert your artist name format is obviously a very popular format on Spotify. So I just added this song, but by default, Spotify puts it all the way at the bottom of the playlist. And this is not where I want it. I want to bring it up on the playlist. So usually when I start promoting a new song, I'm putting it somewhere towards the top. So this one I'm actually going to put in 4th position. And the reason why I'm doing this is that Beat on My Heart and All Night and I Feel It are tracks that perform really, really well for me right now. I'm getting a lot of love on those tracks from the algorithm. If I hover over here, so Feel It, Beat on My Heart, I guess All Night, is not in the top 10 here right now. At least I'm not seeing it. But let's check Discover Weekly here. All Night is pretty good on Discover Weekly. So that's why I don't want to disturb the ones on top of the list. And I'm going to add this in 4th position. The way I'm going to set up this campaign is going to use deep links that go directly to the song on the playlist for a fan. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much where on the playlist the song is. But for fans coming back to the playlist, they're obviously more likely to pick up the song if they just, play the playlist in the order in which the songs are on it. So I'm going to go with this position here. Now, a quick word on why I want to promote my music on a playlist rather than sending the traffic straight to the track. The playlist is a streams multiplier. When you promote your music, and it doesn't matter whether you do it on social media or you do it with ads or whether you send an email campaign, at the end of the day, what you're attracting are listeners. And listeners stream your music. So depending on how you bring the listener over to Spotify, you get a different result in terms of how many streams you get. If I were to send listeners to the original release here, they would be able to stream the track. And if I got lucky, Spotify would play one of my other tracks after that automatically. But eventually, Spotify would just stream other artists' music if the fan didn't do anything, right? So if they hit play here, it really only plays this one song. So I wouldn't expect to get a whole lot of streams out of this sending a fan here. But if I send the fan to my playlist and they like the track and they don't do anything, what happens? They listen to another one of mine, another one of mine, another one of mine, another one of mine. And so the listener turns into many, many more streams. And I can actually show you this here if I go over into Spotify for Artists and I scroll down. So this is my This Is John Gold playlist. And you can see that I'm on 28 days here. So over the last 28 days, I've gotten about 3,500 listeners to this playlist, leaving me about 51,000 streams. So that's about 15 streams per listener. And that's way higher than any other multiple that you typically see in terms of streams per listener. And the reason why this is so powerful is that with the higher number of streams, obviously the royalties go up because these streams earn royalties, but it also helps with the popularity score of the songs. And then the popularity score is what helps push the song into more popular radio spots. So you get essentially more Spotify radio listeners and streams. And then, of course, Discover Weekly. So this just snowballs into making the song more popular, which then incentivizes Spotify to give you even more streams on top of it. So, if there's only one thing you take away from this call, then let it be you want to promote your music in a way where you send the traffic to your own playlist, not just any playlist, but your own playlist with your music on it, right? That is what causes this multiplier effect. But that's literally all I had to do in Spotify. Make sure the track's on the playlist, and I'm now ready to move on and get this campaign up and running. The ad is what I'm launching out of Hyped. And the reason why I'm using Hyped for this is because it is custom built to let me run and manage ad campaigns directly from my own ad account. Again, I don't want to outsource ads to anybody else. I don't want anybody else to run campaigns for me because then I really don't know what's in it. But I also don't want to go into Facebook Ads Manager and spend hours in there, trying to figure things out and setting campaigns up. So I want this to be quick. I want this to take minutes. And that's why I'm using pre-configured music promotion templates that are built into Hyped. So all I got to do is be on my dashboard here. Then I'm going to click on New Campaign. And actually, I should add that I'm on the Ad Campaigns tab here. There are different tabs. I'm on the one that's called Ad Campaigns. Just going to click New Campaign here. And the one that I'm choosing here is the Grow My Spotify Playlist campaign. Simply because I'm promoting my song on a playlist. So I want actually both to grow. I want the song to grow and the playlist. And you can actually see that this works quite well because my This Is John Gold playlist, as a result of running this type of campaign for prior tracks, has now grown to over 60,000 saves. That's 60,000 likes or followers on the playlist. And that also means those are fans that are, likely to come back every once in a while, listen to the playlist, see what other songs are on there. So it just creates this evergreen, traffic or evergreen listener asset that's constantly driving traffic to my music. So this just works really, really well. And all I have to do here in Hyped is follow the steps. It couldn't be easier. So first one, connect Facebook. In my case, that's already done because I've run campaigns in the past. So I can just go next here. Now, Hyped wants to know what the song and the playlist are that I want to promote. So first of all, the playlist URL. So just hopping over here and grabbing the URL for the playlist, putting it in here. Next up, the song. The song is this one here. So copy the song link, throw it in here, done. Already imports the name, the title of the song, the genre here. This is something where you can make a selection from a list of genres that are in Hyped. Now, these genres are relatively high level. This is not a breakdown of 1,000 micro genres. So chances are that the exact genre that you would give your music might not be on this list. It's the same with me. If I say my music is, piano house, or technically it's even old school piano house, that's not on the list. That's way too micro. And so what I want to do is I want to choose the next biggest genre. So old school piano house would be part of piano house. Piano house, I would put under deep house. And so that exists. Deep house comes up. So I'm just going to pick the next biggest genre. This is mostly important to help Hyped figure out for what charts to monitor the track. So Hyped has top 100 charts in various genres. And so this tells Hyped, all right, this track would qualify for the deep house charts if, of course, it would, get the exposure and the fan interactions and whatever goes into getting into the charts. And with that said, all I'm going to do is go next here. The ad creative is what we're creating next. Hyped already imported the cover art, which is there. Now I can add a video effect to this. There are a number of video effects here that I can pick from. And for this one here, actually this VHS glitch might be good. The track has like an old school vibe, so I like the VHS effect for that in this particular case. So I'm just going to go and use that one. But for a good music ad, I need more than just the visuals. What I need is the audio, because what makes a music ad work well is if we present the audience on Instagram and Facebook with just a snippet of the song, so that they can, it's like a teaser, an appetizer, so to speak. So they can sample the song, but then if they want to listen to the full song, they're going to come over into Spotify and listen to it there. So I'm just going to drag the MP3 file of the song into Hyped here, uploading the audio. And then what Hyped is going to do with this, it renders it into a waveform and gives me this little cutting tool here. And with this cutting tool, I can now cut out different sections of the song that I want to use as previews in my ads. And so now this is something where actually I'm going to do this the quick way. I would have to turn up the volume now, and I'm streaming the microphone to you guys right now. So if I went through and spent the time figuring out the best snippets of the song here, it would take a little bit longer than we have. So I'm just going to demo this part for you, where I'm just going to make a few selections here. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm looking for moments in the song where the first couple seconds are what captures somebody's attention, right? So the snippet that I'm selecting is not a snippet where the most important or the most exciting part of the song would be in the middle of the snippet. You gotta imagine that a lot of people, when they are on Instagram or Facebook, they are scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and they only pay seconds or even fractions of seconds with every piece of content. So the way you want to cut your previews is you want to identify some of the most exciting moments of the song, and maybe that's the drop, or maybe that's a verse, or maybe that's a chorus, or maybe that's a solo, or whatever it is. Then you want to use the cutting tool to put it in such a way that that exciting part of the song is right at the beginning of the section that you're cutting, so that a fan, even if they only hear the first or second or third second of your preview, is captivated by your song right away. And this is difficult to predict. The truth is, oftentimes I can't really predict what fans who don't know the song, haven't made the song the way I have made it, would find most exciting. And that's simply the reason why I'm doing 3 snippets, because I don't want to guess, okay, that snippet is going to be the winner. That's why I'm picking 3. So the algorithm can then figure out, okay, which one's the best one, and then it will overweigh the budget automatically to that snippet, because that snippet is best at converting listeners into fans, and then they come over to Spotify. And then here on the right side, I can start seeing what this looks like. So I have the video here now. You can see the VHS flicker effect on top of this. Or if I want to see what this looks like in an Instagram placement, this is what it will look like. Now, one of the questions that comes up all the time, so I'm just anticipating this might come up at the end and spend a few seconds here answering this right now, is Hey John, can I upload my own video if I don't want Hyper to render this video for me? And the answer is yes, you can. Actually, to demo this right now, I'm just gonna, I should be able to delete one of here and to go back. So you can see that there are two options here, create video and upload. And if I were go to upload, I could literally just upload a video of my own here. And you can mix this, right? So if I go to upload, I see the videos that I rendered before, and I could upload a third one, which is maybe a music video or a selfie or like somebody recorded me performing. So I could test that as well if I wanted to. So whether you upload your video or you created it and hyped it, either way, it works fine. The reason why I usually do the create option is because I'm very bullish on these ads that are just the cover art and the music. And I know this doesn't sound intuitive, and a lot of artists think, hey, you know, flashier is better. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to mimic the experience in Spotify. And if you think about how you consume music or experience music in Spotify, right? If I just log into Spotify right now, it is literally just a cover art, and then there's music playing. That's the experience in Spotify. And so the ad mimics this. And that can help attract the right type of audience, somebody who is really mostly fascinated by the music rather than a flashy video, come over into Spotify. And so that's why I love this format. All right, so I talked about how to create it or how to upload your own video, and then we're going to go next and finish up this campaign. I have to select the countries in which my ads will be shown to music fans. I have gotten the best results with tier 1 and tier 2 countries, which is the default. So I'm just going to go with that. I could, of course, completely customize this list. If I customize it, I could save it as a group that can bring up over and over again. I also have some other presets over here, but this is the one that works best for me when it comes to Spotify. So I'm just going to go next. Now I can pick the interests. What does that mean? So one of the really cool benefits of running ads is that I can put my music in front of an audience of fans that are already in love with my genre, which is really powerful if you think of it. I make old school piano house music. So if I can put my music in front of old school piano house fans on Instagram and Facebook, I don't have to convince them that this is a great genre and this is fun listening to. They are very likely to really enjoy the music because it's the exact genre that they already love. The only thing is that they have never heard of me before, but once they see the ad and they discover another artist who makes that specific sound and style that they enjoy, it is so easy for them to just click and then come over to Spotify and become real engaged fans and save my music and repeat stream it. And so the way I'm doing this here is that I'm inserting 3 sound-alike artists. So who's out there who makes music that sounds similar to mine? And it might not be the exact sound, but so that I think that the fans of those artists would also enjoy my music. A little trick that oftentimes can help is who inspires you musically, and who do you enjoy listening to? So I find that overlaps for me. So for example, you know, I really enjoy listening to Mark Knight. His music is definitely an inspiration to me. So he will be a good sound-alike artist. And somebody else I could select here, Low Step Up. Also enjoy his music. And then let me do a third one here. We're gonna do Bob Sinclair. And then once I have selected 3, all I got to do is here click generate interests. And this is when Hyped goes out and runs an algorithm to analyze what you just input and then come back and develop the suggested interests for the Instagram and Facebook targeting. Now, this can, you know, take a couple seconds. So I'm just going to grab a sip here while this is happening. Actually, while this is working, I'm gonna or this might actually, if I flip to one of the others, this might go away. So actually, this gives me an opportunity to look at some of the questions here. So while this is happening there, so here's a question. Dr. Fish said, do you guys use automatic placements in meta ads? No, we don't use automatic placements. And automatic placements has the challenge that a lot of the placements that fall under automatic placements and that Facebook has available or Meta has available across Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and even third-party sites that are part of their advertising network are not effective for music promotion. So this is a carefully selected, smaller list of placements that have historically worked best for music promotion that are being used here. All right, so I thought that fit in well. Now we got the interest here. So Hyped came back recommending Deep House, Bob Sinclair, Mark Knight, Eric Prydz, and Steve Angelo. I love them. So I'm going to go with those. If there was any in here that I didn't like, I could simply exit out and then replace it with something else. But in my case, I like those, so I'm just going to move forward. Budget, $5 a day. This is where I like to start because I always want to start with a minimum budget. I want to give the campaign time to learn and then scale it from there. So actually, let me spend a minute of this because this is really interesting. What is one of the most powerful features when it comes to running music ads on Instagram and Facebook is that you're tapping into advanced AI that is constantly learning from all the interactions that fans have with your ad in order to better and better target the right fans. Okay? Now, what does that mean? That means that the worst day of a campaign, statistically speaking, is the first day, because on the first day of the campaign, it hasn't learned anything yet. That's a bit exaggerated, of course. Facebook learns even from prior campaigns and on your pixel. So if you wanted to dissect this technically, might not be 100% accurate. There's obviously learning that happens at all kinds of levels, not just at the campaign level, but also at the account level. But it's a new song. Your audience hasn't seen that song yet on Instagram and Facebook. So Facebook and Instagram will figure out who responds best to your ad, and that just takes data. And so if the statistically worst day is the first one, then the best day statistically is the last one, because that's when it has learned the most and has a ton of data to look back on about who are the best possible fans to interact with your ad on Instagram and Facebook. And so the way I take this and translate it into the way I promote my music is that I start with $5 a day, which is the minimum budget. I let that run for 30 days. I'm going to give it a month time to learn and learn and learn. So it's a $150 budget there in order to let this campaign ripen and mature and gather the data it needs. And at that point, after 30 days, this is when I'm ready to compare it to other campaigns that I'm running and then decide, is this one a new winner? Or is this one a loser and I'm better off, promoting my music or promoting my profile with another song rather than this one? Every song performs slightly different, right? I wish I'd be able to repeatedly write hits, but the honest truth is I'm not. I'm really a very average musician. My passion for making music is unfortunately not matched by my musical skills. I think I have more passion than I have skills when it comes to making music, and that's why I love putting out music, and that's why I love promoting it. But I'm not an artist who can knock out a hit after hit after hit after hit. And so in my experience, some of my songs perform really well, and I'm very excited about this, and I keep investing into those songs. I keep growing those. I keep growing my audience with those songs. But then I have a lot of songs which are not hits, and the ad performance shows this. And this is why I will eventually, kill these campaigns, and then there might be another release that I'm going to test. All right, so that's just the truth. And my mentality is I'm not going to force it. I don't take any pride necessarily in a particular track blowing up, as long as some of my tracks blow up. And so if this one is a winner, great. I'll continue to work with this. If this track in 30 days is not a winner, is a loser, I will shut down this campaign and I will keep investing into my other songs that I know are winners. And so, even these days when I help other artists promote their music, one of the first things that I recommend is, test different tracks. If you can, maybe launch campaigns for 3 of your tracks, and you'll likely find that they perform very differently. And so you get the most results on Spotify by putting your time and effort and budget into the best performing songs, rather than trying to push hard on a particular song, for example, the newest one, if it's not the best one. So this might be a unique mindset that I have on this one. But again, as long as my music grows overall and I grow as an artist and my audience grows, I'm fine with any of my songs doing the heavy lifting. It doesn't have to be this one. It could as well be another. All right. So with this done, we are into the advanced settings. So this is usually something I skip over. I usually recommend not doing anything here. And I see that most artists get the best results with just the default settings. So I'm literally not going to touch this. I'm just going to go next. I see a confirmation of everything I set up. And then all I'm going to do here is confirm that I'm ready to go. Click Save Draft. And then the last step simply is to publish the campaign. All right. So I'm going to click here now. And this is when Hyped It now goes out and creates the campaign and uploads those videos, and then creates the ads, combines the videos with the ad creative and the placements. So the vertical videos go into the vertical placements, the square videos go into other places. So there's like hundreds of settings and things that are now happening in the background and that I don't have to worry about. And so that's what makes it so fast, right? So I'm actually gonna, let me hop on full screen now. But how much time did I spend on this? Probably 20, 25 minutes. But this was me talking through every single step here. If I do this without talking about it and moderating it, this just literally takes me like 5 minutes. All right. So this is the exact process in which I promote every one of my songs. I'm adding it to a playlist, I'm launching a campaign, and then I let it run for 30 days. And then I evaluate, was it a winner, was it a loser? And that decides the fate of this campaign. And with this said, I want to tackle some of your questions. So let me hop in here. I've seen, wow, you guys are amazingly active in the chat. So actually, let me take it from the top and see what we have going on. So let me show this one here. Let me see if I can make this out. So Troy says, I see all the comments of grow actually within 4 weeks. My music commercially viable country. Troy, to be honest, I'm not sure I understand your question 100%. Maybe do me a favor, give me a little bit more color on it and leave it in the comments again so that I can make out exactly how best to help you with your comment. All right. All right, so we still have some genres here. Let me see. So you guys are sharing some comments here about other music promotion services you worked with and that didn't work and what you got out of it. So I love this. I'm just trying to scroll down to the questions. So we answered the question about automatic placements. I see a lot of feedback here on playlists, playlist promotion. Playlists might be real and generate streams, but none of them seem to generate followers, regular listeners. Yes. So Joey, that's a great comment, right? The challenge with playlist promotion is twofold. One is, you don't know if the traffic the playlist is getting is real or fake. And I'm talking about third-party playlist promotion. What I'm talking here right now is not what I've shown you, putting your music on your own playlist. What I'm showing you, what I'm talking about is paying a playlist platform to put your music on playlist. So if they put you on playlist, you don't know whether the traffic on those playlists is real or fake. But even if the traffic is real, think about how most music fans listen to playlists. And I mean, I just have to look at myself. I turn on a playlist if I want music to run in the background. I might have a playlist on when I'm working out. I might have a playlist on when I'm working and I'm looking for some background music. If I have friends over and we're hanging out, I put a playlist on to have music in the background. And I'm not really paying much attention to individual songs. It's more that I'm creating, background sound. And so if you put your music on a playlist like that and you pay for it, you will obviously get some listeners and streams out of it. But because playlists are usually enjoyed passively in the background, you're not usually seeing a lot of fan engagement. And so the result is that when you get on the playlist, your results go up, they go up, they stay there. And when you're off the playlist, they drop right back to where they were before, because you didn't actually get follower and repeat listeners. So I'm right with you, Joey. So 100% agreed here. And that's so different with ads, because if we promote our music on Instagram and Facebook, like I love doing it, right? If a fan discovers my song on Instagram and Facebook and then clicks on the ad because they enjoyed the sound snippet, they come into Spotify specifically to check out my music. So this is completely different. This is like the most active listener that you can think of. This is somebody who discovered you outside of Spotify and then came into Spotify just to check out your music. And so these are the listeners and fans that are most likely to take action on the music, which is, repeat stream and save and add to playlists and do all those things that the Spotify algorithm then sees as positive signals. So that's great stuff. So here's Dr. Fish said, I set up my own playlist. This is Schizophrenic, with just my tracks, and this created my best results. Got real fans to listen to multiple tracks. Yeah, 100%. So this stuff really works. Okay, so here is Ellen. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Left this in the Facebook group too. I have promoted one song using the playlist campaign. Now I want to try another song, as you suggest. It's a little different than my other song in terms of genre. So here's what I would say. If you release both of those songs under the same artist name on Spotify, that means they must be similar enough that you didn't feel like you needed to create a new artist profile or a new artist alias for that song. And so I would include it in the same playlist. I know we have some artists and musicians in our community who literally run multiple projects. They might have a solo project and they might have a project as a band, and maybe what they do solo is a different genre than what they do with the band. And in those cases, I would say you don't want to mix it. You want to keep separate playlists, but music that you release under one artist name and profile, I think belongs together. Alrighty. So let me see. Let me scroll. This is an interesting comment here. So Roger Tom says, sucks we can't create playlists as the artist and have to use our personal user profile. So I hear what you're saying. So let me quickly jump to this view. So by the way, the campaign is now published. So the song promotion is now going to go live on Hyped It that we set up together. And it's just literally going to take a couple minutes for Facebook to approve it. And then new streams and new fans and new listeners are going to show up for that song. So, but what I wanted to show you isn't that. What I wanted to show you is I wanted to take you here. So the comment from Regatum is on the fact that the playlist here is created from a personal profile, not an artist profile. So the way I'm working with this is twofold. First of all, my personal Spotify account has the same name as me as an artist. So which is, simply John Golden in my case. But I wouldn't call this, anything different. It obviously makes it feel a lot more legit and artist related, and also made sure that the avatar I'm uploading to this account is matched with the avatar that I'm using as an artist, and in this particular case here for the playlist. So it all very much appears the same. And then of course in Spotify for Artists, you can link your playlists to your artist account. So if I go to my, that was wrong. If I go to my artist account, I scroll down, I can see artist playlists. These are playlists that are created from my personal Spotify account, the one I use to listen to music, but they're associated with my artist account. And the way you do this is simply that if you are in Spotify for Artists and you go to your profile and you scroll all the way down, you see the option of artist playlist. So this is where you can edit it and just add a playlist here. And every playlist that you add here will then show up on your artist account as an artist playlist. And this gives it the legitimacy, or makes it legitimate, essentially, for fans to see, oh, I guess this is John's actual playlist and he made it, and that's why it shows up on his artist profile. All right, so hopefully that helps. So this is a great question here. So FruityTube says, what if we're new and only have 1 to 2 tracks? So this seems to be related to the question of having your own playlist. If you only have 1 to 2 tracks, there are 2 things you can do. The first one is, let me do the split here. Again, actually, I'm doing it like this. The first one is, you can, of course, if you don't have a playlist yet, simply use the Grow My Spotify track template, right? It has all the same features in terms of putting your music in front of diehard fans and then sending it over to your track. And you could do this for your first track, your second track, and then as you release more, let's say all the way up to 5 tracks, then you just switch over and use the Grow My Spotify playlist template then once you hit the 5th track, because that's when you have enough to put on a playlist. The other alternative would be to build a playlist and substitute it with 3 tracks from other artists. It can be done. In this case, you probably wouldn't call it a, this is, I'm sure FruityTube is not your artist name. It's probably a YouTube name, but I'm just using this as a placeholder. So you probably wouldn't use that as a, this is FruityTube as a playlist name. You would then maybe have a name that aligns more with the genre or the feeling you evoke with your playlist, and then later on rebrand this to a, this is, insert your artist name here kind of playlist. So you have both of these options. Either start the playlist with a mix of your own songs and third-party songs or songs from other artists, or use the Grow My Spotify track template first and then switch over to this one. Alrighty. All right, let me see, what else do we have here? All right, there's a couple conversations here between you guys going on, which is awesome. So Faza says, what about music ad campaigns for SoundCloud? So technically, you could run an ad campaign and use that in order to send fans over to SoundCloud. There's no problem with that. The benefit of this is, of course, SoundCloud is free to use for a lot of listeners, so it has really good adoption. How many folks have the SoundCloud app installed on their phones, or will be willing to open up in the browser? Is another question. So that would be something to be tested. But what I found worked well for SoundCloud is the fan promotion option inside Hyped It. So I didn't mean to plug anything here as a promotion, but this one was specifically built for this fan promotion product here. And really the way this works is quite simple. So Hyped It has top 100 charts, and on top of the top 100 charts, on top of every one of these is a spotlight track. And so if you run a fan promotion campaign, it puts your track into the spotlight position. So as thousands and thousands of people come to these charts, they will discover your song on top here. And I just found that the results here are more cost effective than running ads on Facebook, Instagram for SoundCloud. So this works really, really well. Oh, actually, I forgot to share my screen. So this is what I was talking about here. So in Hyped It, it's under Promote Music, and then Fan Promotion, and then this is what it looks like on top of the charts. You have these tracks that are spotlighted. All right, so that's what this is. Oh, cool. What else do we have here? Let me scroll. So seems to see some good feedback here. Anthony says, I love this instrument in Hyped and already used that. Facebook ads is so laggy most of times when we're using it directly. Yeah, I agree. This doing it directly in Hyped is just a super time saver. So Vivian says here, yes, but this is not possible for Christian genre in Facebook as they removed all Christian artist bands. So that puts us at a disadvantage. To use other than Christian can backfire, unlike other genres. So Vivian, 2 thoughts on this. I recently promoted a song for an artist called Corey Binks. And you may have seen this actually in the last live that I did. So if you go back on YouTube and you check out the last live that I did last month, I talked specifically about that song. And Corey Binks is a Christian artist. And there is definitely the success to be had. Didn't target any religious interest on this one. This was purely music-related genre targeting. The other option that you have, if you are more concerned about getting in front of an audience that sort of aligns on the spiritual, religious aspect of the song, in cases like that, I would actually recommend a YouTube campaign. So if you are if you're in Hyped, you have not only Spotify options, you have YouTube options as well. And on YouTube, you have broader targeting available, and I don't think that's taken the same stance as Facebook on taking away anything that would be a political interest or a religious interest. So hopefully that helps. But ultimately, I would recommend to check out that last live that we did last month, because that's exclusively on that Corey Binks song. I love this question here. So Stat says, why should one pay for ads if they do not earn much, even at all, from their music? So there's a couple thoughts to this. You can, of course, earn money from your music. It's just a matter of what you include in this, right? So if you spend $1 on an ad, are you very likely to get that $1 back in streaming royalties with your next royalty statement? The answer there, of course, is no, you will not, right? $1 spent on ads is not going to come back to you as $1 in streaming royalties the next day. But can that $1 come back in streaming royalties? The answer to that is it can. And so if let me go back to Spotify for Artists here, and what's a good way to show this? Maybe source of streams here. Let me see. So this is on playlist. So let me do this here. So if you just look at where, if you run ads and you promote your music this way, and you just look at where streams are coming from, right now you can see I'm getting over 1,500 streams there, 1,800 streams. I'm looking at the top number here from listeners' own playlists and libraries. So what does that mean? So those are fans who discovered the music here, and this is per day, by the way. And so those are fans who discovered my music, and then they added it to their own library in Spotify, or they added it to one of their playlists. And once you're in there, once they've added you, you can obviously pick up streams forever. It might never end. And so you don't have this with playlist promotion, as we talked about earlier, because a lot of these fans, they are passive. They go away once you're off the playlist. But if you run ads to your music, you are actually acquiring real fans that have longevity, that stick along. So a fan that I acquired today from that new campaign, right? We just launched a new campaign, or I just launched a new campaign for one of my songs. So a fan that listens to the song today and saves it can listen to that song today, tomorrow, next month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in a year from now. And so you're building a really, really long tail of listeners and streams that come back to your music. And so can you make $1 back that you put in ads over a long period of time? Yes, you can. Is it guaranteed? Of course not, right? That depends on constantly releasing new music and making sure there's more to discover for fans. If they come back to your playlist, there's all of a sudden there's more tracks, right? If you expand your playlist from 5 tracks to 10 tracks, it'll pick up a lot more streams, of course. I've shown you the multiple on my playlist, which was 15 streams on average per listener. That means I should have at least 15 tracks on that playlist. If I had less, I would probably pick up less streams. So the depth of the catalog matters. So there's a lot of things we can do as independent music artists to really maximize the revenue that we're getting from these streams. But what really helps is focusing on real fans only. And that's just why I would only invest in ads and not into any other promotion system or strategy where I know I'm only getting in front of passive listeners that might give me a quick bump in streams, but it all goes away once I'm off that playlist. So I went to that because that's definitely where the return isn't. And then give it time, because over time these fans help you build, and that's where the long tail comes in. All right, so. Before we end the call here, I'm just scrolling through. There's a lot of conversations going on between you guys, which I absolutely love. Oh, this is a really important question here. I'm so glad you asked that, Julian. So Julian says, why using Hyped when going to Meta ads, there are notifications asking if you want Meta to learn and apply AI suggestions. Should we then say yes? No is the answer. You absolutely do not want to do this. Now, the reason why is taking us a little bit deeper into the mechanics of running ads. But Facebook and Instagram is optimized to, or is built to automatically optimize campaigns for a measurable end result. This works really well if you think in e-commerce terms, right? If I run ads for a product I want to sell online and I tell Facebook, hey, somebody purchased it now, then Facebook can see, all right, if I send the ad to this type of people that come over and buy it, that completes the transaction, and they can optimize around that because Facebook controls who sees it and then knows exactly who buys it, and this is all the data Facebook needs in order to optimize that. So in a situation like that, I would be more likely to consider giving Facebook the control and saying, all right, you do this. But when it comes to promoting music on Spotify, the situation is actually different because Facebook still knows the audience, but Facebook does not see the ultimate end result. Because what do we ultimately want? We're not running ads to just get clicks. We're running ads because we want streams and listeners and fans in Spotify. And by the way, Spotify only counts a listener and a stream if that person listened to more than 30 seconds of your song. These are all things that are blind to Facebook. Facebook does not see that. And this is why it couldn't possibly optimize your campaign for the ultimate result that you have in mind. And this is why, using software in the middle is the important piece. Like, you need to be able to connect Facebook with an intermediary landing page and then Spotify in order to build the best possible tracking into the system. Without getting too technical about this, the short answer is, if you tell Facebook, yes, apply these suggestions, it might actually break the campaign for your music on Spotify. It might actually pull down your results because Facebook will optimize for something that for sure isn't the end result that you ultimately want, because Facebook does not see any of what's happening inside of Spotify. All right, so this is a really good question. And unfortunately, I see artists sometimes think, oh yeah, if Meta recommends it and I'm running these Meta ads, it must be a good idea. So they just click yes, when in fact it does the opposite to their campaign. So definitely do not that. And if you are listening to this and you're in a situation like that where you click this, then I recommend get in touch with the customer support on our end to help you undo some of the things that Facebook may have done, because you definitely don't want them to establish rules inside your account that will modify even future campaigns. And some of that stuff can happen. So by default, say no. If you want a second opinion on it, just post it or take a screenshot, send it to the Hyped support team, which is always very easy to reach. Actually, let me show you that as well. So if you ever want support of any kind, all you got to do is come here into Hyped top right corner, click that little question mark, and you get in touch with us. Myself, Mike, JV, Patrick, like everybody on our team here, we're here 7 days a week to answer any questions. And so that will just be a perfect question. Hey, I got this pop-up. What do you guys think? Should I say yes? Should I say no? And we're able to help you out with that. Yeah. All right, let me see if I find one last question, then we close it out here. So I'm going to choose this one here. Mark Gazette says, my only question is, in this rapidly moving world, is having a video clip the best way to engage people now? And so I love this question. I talked about that somewhat when we went through the ad creation process. Videos are a possibility, and technically what Hyped generates is a video as well. So when you say video, I am assuming you're talking about a music video, like something that's animated, as opposed to a video of the cover art and an effect. So both works. If you have a video already done, test it. Just launch a campaign with a video. You can launch a second campaign with a cover art, or you can actually do both in the same campaign and let the data give you the answer of what performs best. It really depends on what the video is. It'll depend on what the cover art would be as an alternative. And that way, you have to put it in front of fans and let the fans tell you which one performs best. And the good thing is that the budget will automatically shift towards the better performing one. I love the cover art, as I said, because it prepares the listener for the experience that is Spotify. And I don't want to overshoot the goal here and then get into a situation where the video looks so amazing that when somebody arrives in Spotify, they think, oh, I really like that video I saw in the ad, and obviously can't see the video on Spotify. So let me close out of Spotify. Let me go into YouTube and see if I can find the video there. If that happens, it means a couple of things. Maybe you pick up a new view in YouTube. Okay, that could be good. But what Spotify sees is, hey, somebody came to your music and they left right away. And to Spotify, that is a negative signal. That means, hey, somebody didn't like the song, and it'll do just the opposite of what you're trying to do on Spotify. It'd make your song appear less popular because people who arrive, they leave. And so that is a little bit the double-edged sword. If you have a really amazing video, that might attract a lot of clicks because it's so super flashy, but then doesn't set the right incentive for people to end up in Spotify when they really wanted to watch the video. Now, I will say this, and I need to give credit to someone in our community here. The name slips my mind right now, but I posted a video last week or the week before on promotion and on videos, and somebody left a comment and said, hey, what if I put a link to Spotify and another link to YouTube on that same smart link so that people who want to go over to YouTube, they can? And I thought that was a really cool idea. I haven't tested it yet, but it would certainly help to direct people who really wanted to see a flashy video then over into YouTube. But if it's about growing on YouTube, then I would fall back to the new YouTube growth templates that are in here. So one of my new favorite templates is to grow my YouTube channel. I actually have a video coming. I put this to the test. I created a brand new YouTube channel because I wanted to see how fast I could grow it. And my goal was to hit 1,000 tier 1 country subscribers in 10 days. And whether I made it or not, I won't reveal it here. I will share that in an upcoming video. But man, this stuff is powerful. So All right, guys, we're going to close it out here. I hope you enjoyed this session. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons here so you can join more of these live calls with me on YouTube. I wish you the best of luck with your music on Spotify. And again, if you want to get in touch, just go over to Hyped, click that little question mark icon, send me any questions, send me any feedback. And if there's a question that you posted here and I haven't had a chance to get to it, just because there were so many comments here, then just send it into our help desk, and we'll make sure to respond to it and answer your question that way. All right. With that said, guys, I wish you all the best. Have a great rest of the week, and I can't wait to see you on the next live. All right. Ciao, everybody. Have a good one.